Ayolu success. Oh, beautiful. You're from Ibadan, Nigeria. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So what kind of music do you like? Do you like rock music? Do you like R&B? What kind of music do you like? Ayolu says he doesn't really know the details about music, but he likes it low and gentle. Maybe R&B or yeah, probably R&B as well or jazz. You might like jazz. I have a friend who likes country music, for example. I think she likes rock as well, and I'm wondering rock is too loud for me, just too loud. But it's okay, it's fine. It's really good to see everyone. Thank you for joining in. I can see now the numbers are picking up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those who do not know me, if you are joining us for the first time, my name is Korola Oladipo. I'm an architect. Perhaps you are as well. So please let's know what profession, what's your profession in the comment section. Just, put it in the comment section. Let's know where you're joining from. What do you do for a living? I say it all the time, you just never know. The world has gotten so small now, and so you don't know who you're going to meet in the comment section. So, as much as possible, try to be as interactive and active in the comment section as much as possible. So, I'm just going to let me put up the music so we can dive right in. Okay, so you're welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope your month you're taking it easy, you're not stressing yourself, you're taking things slow. I mean, they'll say the world is not going to wait for you, but it's better if you take things slow and then you eat into the year, with energy. So pace yourself, take it one step after the other, and then we'll see where the year leads. I mean, the year's still very young. January is still, we're still in January, so what's the hurry really? But this is the Future Design Collaborative. This is an initiative that we started last year, middle of last year, that's May. So we're just about 6 months, 7 months. It's a 7-month-old baby. But we thank God. I am grateful for all the progress that we have made, all the strides that we have taken and all the things we've been able to achieve in the space of 6 months. Gradually we're building, and we're building something that is going to last. We're building a legacy. And Rome was not built in a day, so we're not in a hurry at all. We're not under any pressure to impress anyone, and we're not trying to bite more than we can chew. So one step at a time, a day at a time, sweet Jesus. So this is the Future Design Collaborative. We serve as a bridge between the architectural students and designers who are graduating from the different colleges, universities, polytechnics, and are coming into the industry. We do have a national body, that's the National Institute of Architects in Nigeria, Nigerian Institute of Architects, pardon me. However, it seems as if they are so far away, so we are serving as that bridge basically to connect you from campus to what's happening in the industry. And so we put up a system and a structure whereby you get to meet people like us. I graduated in 2009, for example, from the great Obafemi Awolowo University. Do we have any great IFE students or graduates here? Alumnus, let me see you wave. Disturb the comment section. Let them know that we're here. So, I mean, nobody's going to teach you what's happening in the industry. You have to graduate to find out. And a lot of us didn't even have this opportunity. We all just, we figured it out as we went by. And so this is the time where we're taking inventory, and we're looking at, okay, what can we do differently for the next generation? Because we're gradually losing a lot of architects. A lot of architects are just, diversifying into other fields, which is understandable. But even before you diversify, what are some things that you can get? I mean, architecture is a very lucrative profession, highly lucrative. If you know your onions, if you know what you're really doing, you're focused, you're creative, you're diligent, and you're excellent, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to cash out in architecture. I mean, it's okay if you want to diversify as well, but it's just important that you know the different opportunities out there. So you don't have to study architecture, graduate as an architect, and then work as a draftsman or a site engineer. There are so many other things you can do. For example, I have been an exhibition architect for the past 6 years now. No, 5 years, 2019, with Design Week Lagos. And so it was just something that I realized I had the capacity for. I could, coordinate stakeholders. I could coordinate, the exhibition space and all of these other logistics and management. And so if you're not in the industry, you might not even know that that kind of opportunity exists. And so we're going to get to that. Those are some of the things we want to talk about. What are the key takeaways from 2024, and how can you position yourself in 2025? Because every disadvantage, every challenge really is an opportunity in disguise. So we have been able to secure someone who has walked the walk, who has results, tangible results to show. She has launched a business. She has been, it's true that great things come in small packages like myself. So it's important that you listen in, get your notes, get your notepad. She's going to take the floor very soon. Once I introduce her, you're going to get to meet her. But beyond that, I also just wanted to chip in one or two, lessons that I learned from 2024. So the topic for today is reflections and projections. What are the reflections that from 2024, and how can you project into 2025 and the months ahead? So it's important that you take inventory, see how well you're doing, what you need to work on, what are you doing well, what do you need to work on, and what do you need to start afresh. So those are the, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight: reflections and projections. Reflections meaning, what are the key takeaways from 2024? What were some of the lessons? What were some of the high points, in 2024? And so at this point, I would also like to read from you, hear from you. Give me one takeaway. Maybe one or more takeaways from 2024 for you. So please put it in the comment section. What was your major takeaway from 2024? Let's get interactive at this point. Let me see what you learned from 2024 that you're going to use in 2025. For me, one of the things I learned is that success is predictable. A lot of people are on Instagram, you're on social media, you're feeling pressured by the successes of others, and you're wondering, when will I ever get here? Well, I'm here to tell you tonight that success is predictable. There are some things you need to just, if you're consistent, you do certain things, you're a good manager of time, resources, people, relationships, success is predictable. So that's the first thing I want to drop. Success is predictable. And by learning from those who have gone before, you can leverage systems, you can stay disciplined, stay focused. And so you can predict and create the outcomes that you desire yourself. The second thing that I took away from last year is nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. You probably have heard that before, but knowledge alone is not enough to earn trust or influence people. And so whether in business, relationships, leadership, or personal relationships even, people are drawn to those who genuinely care about them. I know, because now I'm managing a community, and it has been tasking because, we're in the early stages of the community. We're building the community. And so I've had to do a lot of, genuinely care about people's well-being. Like, how are you? What projects are you working on? Do you need anything? These are some of the resources that we have for you, per month. Join our newsletter so you know what's happening in the industry. So really, nobody cares what you know until they know how much you care. And so try to prioritize empathy, prioritize service and connection, genuine connections. People become more receptive to your knowledge. They become more receptive to your expertise and your advice when they know that you genuinely care about them. And so in every interaction, lead with care. Lead with care. Okay, so let me just drop that. The first thing I said is success is predictable. The second thing I have said is nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And so without further ado, I'm just going to read the bio of our guest speaker for today. Just give me a minute. And after I read a bio, the next voice you're going to hear will be that of our guest speaker. While we wait for her, let me go to another key takeaway. If you also have a key takeaway you would like to share, please feel free, put it in the comment section. I'm going to read it out so everybody can benefit from it and everybody can learn from your key takeaways from 2024. Okay? Another lesson from 2024 for me is that there is a price to pay for the greatness that you seek. So every dream, every goal or vision, it comes with a cost, whether it's time, effort, discipline, or sacrifice. And so those who achieve greatness understand that success really, it requires relentless commitment. You have to be committed. You have to be focused. Don't be distracted. What is your business with what somebody else is doing on Instagram? You run your race. Face your dreams, face your goals, and exert yourself mentally. Think things through. You see what I mean? Think things through. Don't be lazy mentally. 2025 is not the year for being lazy. You have to. Yes, we can see you now. Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. Once again, my name is Freda, and I love to call myself a design entrepreneur. I love to call myself a design entrepreneur and a kingdom citizen. Um, so, I'm an interior designer, and I joined the industry about 10 years ago. I joined based on it was a calling actually, and it was a calling and it was like an assignment from God, and I needed to do it the right way, and so that's why since I started Panto Interiors, um, it's been um, it's been a lot of work building. So we've been focused more on building the industry actually, because that was like an assignment or a calling, for my life. And yes, so it's been a journey, and I'm so excited. I won't have it another way. It's in as much as almost every year I give up, but I'm so excited about the responsibilities that come with the calling. Yes. So I've been told to talk about the 12 takeaways from 2024. I'm sure everyone would agree with me that 2024 was a whole year. Like it was a very loaded year, and a lot of growth took place basically for me. A lot of growth took place, and from the experiences that I had. And so I had divided the my key takeaways in as much as you said 12 takeaways, and I was just thinking about it. I'm like, 12 is a lot, because 12 is a lot because well, no problem. So I had to just put them in segments, in different segments, from business to industry and then personal. Yes,
That's
and I think I'll start from personal. One of the key things for me in 2024 was having to understand the concept of love. Because for me, I grew up in a family that was void of love. So it's been a long journey of having to trust God to help reshape my life on the foundations of His love, having to learn how to love. And sometimes you think you've learned how to love until things come up again, and then you realize, oh, there's still more learning. But 2024 for me, on a personal note, one of the key takeaways was just learning to love and allowing the love of God to literally find its full expression in me and just flow through me. Secondly, on the personal note, I think I also learned about, because I last year I questioned things a lot. There are lots of questions on my mind, not just on my mind, but on my lips last year. I said number two is the states that's the quality and the nature of our hearts, and how it affects the seed of the word that's been planted in us, and how it automatically affects the fruits. In Nigeria, in Africa, we have misinterpreted, or we have a misconception about the word honor, and how that we feel like honor should be for only those who are up there, those who are higher in position and all that. But I last year I had to, like, one of the key things that I thought about last year, that really helped me and that really sat well with me, was just understanding the fact that where the major thing is to honor God. And so for every human being you meet, there is God in them. I was telling someone recently how that every human being on earth was created in the image of God, meaning that there is God in everyone. So whether a Muslim or a traditionalist, so what happens that when you receive Jesus, the God in you comes alive. It's not like, oh, it's just today. My pastor will say, it's not like you give your life to Jesus, it's today they will sew your garments. No, everyone was created in the image of God, in God's own image. So we everyone has that image of God in them. So it means that if you have God in you, even your gate man has God in him, you should honor God in him. So the way you treat people, the way you honor people, shows that you honor God. And so getting to a level where, okay, maybe there are people that don't greet me, and then when I now buy my latest Rolls Royce, I now, I'm now like probably like the minister of something in Nigeria. That's when people now start greeting me when they were not greeting me before. So for me, I won't see that as genuine friendship or genuine love. You understand? And I feel like that's the same way God sees it. And so lastly, I had to understand, and literally, yeah, I had to come to the understanding that honor is meant to be for everyone. And you're not honoring Frida, you're honoring the God in Frida. And so we must learn to honor everyone, basically. And then I also, on a personal note, the fourth thing, which is quite sensitive. Not, I posted something today. I was like, I pray that I do not become a wounded vessel. You know, in as much as we're all seeking to be broken vessels to be used by God, that God will use any vessel. But I feel like we have a responsibility to heal, to work on ourselves, on our character, because I feel like we're confusing the world. The world is seeing me on Sunday dancing in church and posting stuff about God. The world is seeing my post every day on Instagram about Jesus, about God, about Holy Spirit. But outside my post and outside the church walls, they're seeing something different. And basically, the world sees us through our results, be it our products, because our products are the fruits of our results, basically, our products are our fruits, basically, through our products that we sell as business people, through our services as business people, through our words, through our attitude, even when someone insults you, and through our actions. So last year, it dawned on me that I need to be more conscious, so that I'm not confusing the world, basically. I'm not confusing people who want to come inside, because you know how you want to come inside, like I was here and there was light, and all of a sudden it's dark, and so I'm confused. Okay, what's going on with me? Like, why is my screen? And apparently, just to the light, So I'm like, okay, what's up? So it's either there's light or there's no light. So I remember last time I told a lot of people, I'm like, let's choose one. Is that why we good or we're not we good? Because we're confusing the world. And so I'm saying that last year taught me how to be conscious of what I do, because people are watching and people are taking notes, consciously or unconsciously. I remember a client last year told me, Frida, you're slacking. I don't know what's going on with you. You're, like you never used to disappoint. Like, come, this is beyond, because she follows me on my WhatsApp and Instagram. And she was like, and she said a statement that really made me think about this thing I just spoke about. That you post a lot about God. That's why I trust you. I trust you a lot with my projects. But now you're slacking. I don't understand you. This is not. When she said I post a lot about God, I'm like, oh my goodness, And it dawned on me that I need to be more conscious, because I feel like sometimes we're not conscious. And so last year, that experience taught me how to be conscious. A lot of people reached out to me last year about stuff they wanted to involve me in, and people said lots of nice things. Oh, I read your post, and I'm like, and so last year I had to pause. I'm like, okay, am I really my post? Like, am I really living the life or living the reality of the things that I write on my page? Or I'm just full of knowledge?
Can I chip in? For those who might just be joining us and they're wondering, oh, what are we doing here? Are we having a revival, or are we having, a church service? Because this is almost like, architects and designers. I would just, reinforce what Freda has already spoken about, that everybody has an altar. I was talking about honor and service the other time. Whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim or you don't believe in God, everybody has an altar. So whatever altar it is that you have, if you believe in God, then you had better sacrifice and know that there is a price to pay for the greatness that you seek. And you cannot pay that price if you're not self-conscious, if you're not self-aware. How your actions, how are your decisions? How might they be misrepresenting your value system? How might they be misrepresenting the altar that you service, whatever that is? And I want to believe that everyone listening in tonight, you are value adders. You are people of integrity. I want to believe so. FDT community, we are people of integrity. But what our guest speaker is trying to point out right now is it's not just about you having integrity, it's about you being conscious that every decision, every action, every conversation reinforces your integrity, reinforces the thing that you hold dear and the value system that you believe in. Okay, so please go on, Miss Frida. We've learned. I have also picked one or two things from your personal takeaways from 2024. I mean, I can't now that you said all of this. So what were your professional takeaways?
I'm going there. But because the foundation is our spiritual life, basically. That's actually the foundation. And even as an interior designer, I always say for many years, I always tell people how that interior design is spiritual, and because those in the advanced developed world, when it comes to the concept of design to them is actually more spiritual than than physical. And I always tell people how that in Nigeria, as much as we do church a lot, we're actually not spiritual. The people abroad, people are more spiritual in the sense that they tap into the spirit realm more than we do. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
there are lots of inventions and all that. They tap into it like it's so crazy. They tap into it more. And so last year, so okay. Anyways, so I was dwelling on the personal key takeaways. I've talked about personal takeaways, which had a lot to do with my spiritual life, being aware and conscious, and ensuring that I'm not just moving with the flow, ensuring I'm not just playing to or being on autopilot and just moving. Sometimes you just have to press brake. Sometimes you just have to reroute as a pilot. Sometimes you just have to do something like, just to be sure that you're on that part. Let's go to business, which is always very interesting for me. There's business and there's industry, right? Although industry is more interesting, but let's start with business. So for me, the takeaways for me for last year is anyway. I've always known this for many years, but so I would just say it is that our business is God's platform. And last year I was big on it. I always say that when you make a client happy, you are blessing them. And receiving, if you want to be blessed, just bless someone because that's automatic. You don't need to pray for blessing again. God bless me, God bless me. You don't need to do that again. You want to be blessed, just be a blessing. How do you be a blessing? By making someone happy, fortunate. And so if I'm designing a home and the client is not happy, in fact, last year as a company, we lost it. We I don't use the word lost. We spent much more money trying to make up for every. You know how that client will say, "No, I don't like this TV wall. It's too busy. I don't like this chair. It's too low. It's too this," and we had to. We find ourselves spending a lot of millions of money having to replace them. Yes, it's an agreement that we cannot change or whatever, but especially where we see that this is about to bring an argument and the person might not be happy. You don't leave a client in Nigeria. There's this culture of can we send a refund? That's the most annoying thing a child of God should ever say, because your client are God's assignment from are God's assignment to you. You understand? So when you're making a client happy, in as much as there are some clients that can take a piece out of you, it doesn't matter. But they are your assignments. They're God's assignment to you. No matter how difficult they are, you have to. What you always need to do, even if this person is so difficult and trying to stress you, or whatever. If something you cannot handle, you go to God in prayer and ask Him. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you. Ask the Holy Spirit. You can even talk to God that God, please let your mercy. Like last year, my major prayer was let your love and your mercy flow through people to me. So there's sometimes I go encounter clients last year, especially because last year a lot of people were frustrated in Nigeria. So we had clients that transferred frustrations on us or whatever. And I would find myself praying and asking God, let your mercy flow through Mr. Lagbaja to me. Let your mercy flow through him. And then he would change his mind and calm down. But like my mantra last year and even previous years was, I always tell my clients when they're complaining about something, I say, Ma, you're not going to manage. I won't allow you manage it. We will change it. It cost us a lot, but I'm conscious of the fact that blessing means happy. I want to be a blessing to this person. I want to make this person happy. If we have to bend over backwards to do that, we're going to do that. If we have to make loss on a certain project, we will do that because God is the one that rewards. God is the one that pays. Last year was a digging deep year for me in the sense that I had to. It was a major struggle. I remember last year I was so frustrated. As a business person who's a child of God, understanding that there is a purpose, of God for my life, and I had to push and push. I really had to push last year, spiritually or more mentally actually, because I know how that God has put in so much inside of us, inside of me, and I knew I needed to manifest it because it wasn't about me. And how you know that you have the purpose, how that you know that there's a purpose or there's a calling upon your life, is that you start feeling a certain weight. Your friends or your mates are not even thinking about that. They're not feeling anything. They're on this, they just want to go shopping, go partying, but you feel an invisible weight on your shoulders. And I remember I used to call my mentor, my pastor. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I know that the next phase, I just feel a certain weight, and this is not evil weight. Do you understand? It's just a certain responsibility that I feel on my shoulders that I know that there's a lot of work I need to do that needs to be done.
Yeah.
So last year was last year was a, you know how that is, as if you've been sleeping before. Last year was a wake up call for me, as a business person, as a career person. And then last year, there was something I noticed, because I had like two employees that left. And I started thinking about this thing, how that, okay, why do people, um, you know, why do people, how do I explain it? So I had employees that left, and then I also had in church we had lots of testimonies about people who would say, "Oh, I had to leave. I got another job that pays me three times more." Blah blah blah. And I started thinking about. It. I'm like, God, is that your purpose? Your purpose for people's lives, as in it's just uh, linked to money. Like, what's going on? And because so I remember talking to someone last year, and I was like, um, as young people, in fact, one of the reasons why businesses are not thriving in Nigeria, especially Christian-owned businesses are not thriving in Nigeria, is because we're not coming together to work. Nobody wants to build anybody's thing. And meanwhile, people have been called to build Panto Interiors. People have been called to join me in building that vision that God has given me. People have been called to join you in building that vision. And so that's what you might call yourself an employee, but you are not just an employee. You are a major piece in that puzzle. And that's why a lot of businesses are not even going local, talk more of global, because nobody wants to stay. People need to build staying power. At every little pressure, every little push, there is always a reaction like, oh, I want to leave, I want to leave. I remember when I joined the Interior Designers Association of Nigeria, the design body, 9 years ago, sorry, 10 years ago, 9 years ago. I remember at the beginning, because I was the youngest, and I was doing so much because it was a calling. And when you have a calling, your own way of work, the way you work will be quite different from other people. Other people are just like, I'm just here, it's an association, let us be gisting, let us be playing. But when you have a calling, it's quite different. People are wondering, why is this one over? So they call you, they say you're too forward. They're like people that they say they walk too much, you want to show yourself. It's not like you're showing yourself, it's just that there's something pushing you because you have a calling. Do you understand? There's a calling upon your life. And I remember then for the first few years, there were lots of issues. I went through a lot of drama and everything. I remember one time, the first 2 years, I think the first, second year, I had knelt down to God in prayer and like, God, I want to leave it. It's an association. They're not paying me anything. I'm using my money to do stuff. I'm going through a lot of stress and blah, 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 blah. And I remember clearly how that God told me to stay. That was in the night. I cried. I knelt down. And the next day morning by 5 a.m., the founder or the president then called me and was like, Frida, she didn't even know I had been going through that. She just called me from the blues and she's like, blah, 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 blah. She was like, and as I wanted to talk about stuff to her, she was like, Frida, don't even talk about anything. Just think about the bigger picture. So I said that to say that as young people, as employees, we need to think about the bigger picture. You need to think about, and if you're going through whatever pressure, whatever, people need to start talking to God and stop allowing your emotions push you out of things that you might have been called to. Because I remember my pastor would say that if you are on the streets where they are not expecting you, every door you knock on, they will not open. And so this whole trend of leaving a company or something, oh, this person spoke to me anyhow, or this pressure is too much, or they're not paying me a lot, blah, 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 blah. It's a disservice to you and to your
Say
destiny.
it again for those at the back to hear. Please say it again. Say it again. Say it again for those at the back.
So
So they can hear. I've been talking about volunteering for the past 5 years.
yes, you need to. And so last year, I was thinking about, and I was thinking, I'm like, okay, why is this? Last year, the testimonies in many churches was just a lot on, I got a better job that pays me three times. I'm like, who told you the better job? And who told you your destiny can be quantified to salary? And who told you God cannot, if you leave, if you want a higher salary, God can instruct me to pay my staff
Yeah.
times
Your work is not your source.
times 1 million. Do you understand? Because
Yeah.
that staff needs that money. What makes you think God cannot touch the heart of your current employer and you think
Oh
going to
yeah.
another place?
Dash.
Because wherever,
Yeah.
because God plants people for when He gives me a vision, or when He gave me a vision, when He gave you a vision, He also chose some people that will build with you. And so, if God has chosen you to build with someone, the Interior Design Association of Nigeria is a body that I was part of those who built. I can say that openly. I'm not even shy about it. 9 years of us having to labor and labor and labor and labor. This is a volunteer job. This is something that I would travel. I'm sure you're aware. I would travel and would do a lot of work with our monies. I've traveled different parts of the world just something if I travel to New York just to attend a 2 hours meeting, that's to do with the industry. They're not paying me nothing, not for show. In fact, that time there was even no Instagram. Do you
There was
understand?
no
So
show.
thank you. So because God said I should stay, I wanted to leave. Yes, the pressure was a lot, but you go and kneel down and ask God. Don't just leave because you want to leave. Oh, I want a better salary, and that's why people because there are lots of things that we're not doing right as Christian business people, Christian employees, that is making us live below the standard that we're supposed to live. So these are things that I thought about last year. I'm like, and this month I just here, I got a better job that pays me times three. I said, are you? You think God is petty? God is not involved in that. God will never put money and your feelings above His purpose for your life. Never ever. It's not petty. If He doesn't even know what your naira is. He doesn't even know what's naira. God does not spend money. Like He puts a grace upon your life that can produce whatever currency you need in any part of the world. Even as CEOs, now everyone wants to leave, resign, and be entrepreneurs. And I've been smiling. I'm excited about it because you don't even know that as entrepreneurs. In fact, as entrepreneurs, yeah, there's no salary. First of all, do you understand? So you can, yeah. So you can. Let me not belabor this. Let me not belabor this particular one. All I'm just going to say is God will never put your feelings or money above His purpose for your life. Just take that so that you'll not be frustrated and waste time until when you're now 40, you now realize it, then you now start again. You now start going back again. So you don't do that because it's good to stay where God has planted you. If you're confused about it, you feel like, oh, the boss is nasty or the salary is not enough because of the economy or whatever. The thing is this, I always say this. I told someone last year, I said, even if I am wicked, even if the CEO is wicked and even more wicked than I said, even the devil, if you're contributing to the business, you're adding more value to the business and helping the business to grow, even the devil will pay you more, will increase your salary. Because the devil will feel like
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Because there are lots of stories where employers or CEOs buy cars, give houses to employees. That's it. There's nothing there. That's one thing people don't understand. And now what we as employees, what you need to do is to ask God how you can be a blessing to this company. God, I want this company must grow. Do you know, last year I was doing a survey and I realized that a lot of employees don't even post the services or the products of the companies they work in. They're posting food, posting stuff, watching Facebook movies and all that. They're not posting they're not posting the companies. It's good. So you and you don't know that God is the one paying you even for working in that company because He's the one that planted you there. And so what's happening? Why people are not flourishing is that they are oppressing themselves.
If it were that easy, let them go and start their own company. Let's see what they will do differently.
Please don't start your company in this economy. Please just stay where you are.
I can never
Judge yourself and stay planted. Please.
If it were easy, go and start your own. Let's see how you do your own differently. Remember the story of Joseph. Joseph was a dream interpreter. There was no part of scriptures where Joseph said, "Oh, pay me my worth. Pay me what I'm worth. What's my profit from this?" He was just a dream interpreter. And even when he made the mistake of telling the butler that, "Remember me when you get there," that's where the butler. So just do things because it's the right thing to do, not necessarily because what can I get from it, what can I gain from it, how much are you paying me? That shouldn't be the first thing. Your concerns are legitimate. Employers are also responsible people. They have a good value system. They're persons of integrity. Of course, they're going to remunerate you. But don't come with the attitude of, "Oh, if you can't pay me this, then move on." I cannot count how many things I have enjoyed because I served my way to the top. I can't even share some testimonies right now because I'm just like, "Oh, let me just hold on first, though. Let me settle into this level and into this phase, of my business." Okay, so Freda, because of time, tomorrow is Sunday after all. Well, we need to start wrapping up now. So I don't know what other segments you haven't touched.
Okay, so let me so basically as business people and as Christians, I feel like we need to come together and build systems. We need to come together and build businesses that will thrive. We need to come together to build businesses so that we can get resources, more resources to build the kingdom of God, because God is counting on us, and
Mm-hmm.
He needs us to do the work that He needs to do on this earth. For as an industry, I feel like we have a task and a responsibility to build whatever industry we find ourselves as architects, as interior designers. I remember last year I had a session with a construction company where I was trying to train their employees, not train, but doing a session with their employees. And I told them that, do you know, as young as you are, I was talking to the intern architect. I said, as young as you are, do you know that you can impact the this country? So you might think, well, I'm just
Yeah.
designing, I'm just doing a three, I'm just doing a floor plan. Whatever you do, there are human beings that will live in that space, and it will affect their health. It will affect their wealth. Do you understand? So basically, let's say an architect is designing a home that does not allow you design a home. That's the construction of the structure, right? And then me, I come in as an interior designer, and then I mess things up. The people that are going to live there, let's say Mr. A and Mr. A and Mrs. A, Mr. and Mrs. A will live there as a young couple who don't have kids. If that home does not is not healthy enough mentally, it does not promote health, it can affect the woman's hormones, and then she becomes
Mm-hmm.
unproductive. And let's say, okay, she's
Mm-hmm.
able to get pregnant to the glory of God. She now has kids. It affects the way you think. And that home that I've designed, or whoever designed it, can actually also create a mood in that space where
That's
people are
right.
getting frustrated. Now, that one of the people that get frustrated is probably the guy, the man, who brings his frustration to the office. And that affects all the employees. He doesn't know why he's moody. And then he comes to an office that's also not well designed or not well built. And that affects his mood, and he transfers that frustration on employees who also transfer their own that same frustration they got from the office. They take it to their home. So we're recycling rubbish. Do you
Mm.
understand? And now guess what? And that the fact that the man is frustrated creates an unproductive environment that makes that business not productive, meaning that they contribute zero quota to the economy of the country. And that's where then what happens to your country? Your country is now where it is. Instead of
And the
growing,
cycle continues.
exactly. The cycle continues like that. And then the worst part is that it now moves again, it now creates a pattern that they now start transferring generation to generation. And then that's what Africans will now call curse. Because what is cost? Cost is something that empowers you to fail. We need to come together to build an industry. Whatever industry we are in, be it architectural, be it design industry, whatever industry, we need to come together. I remember the first 9 years of joining IDAN, I literally, first 7 years, I sacrificed total, like 100%, everything about me was about the industry.
I like where we're drawing the curtain on this conversation tonight, which is about, building the industry together. Everybody coming together to build the industry and make sure that we have an environment that supports growth, that enables everyone to thrive, and enables everyone to actually showcase their creativity and, all their talents and all their gifts. I particularly like this comment that says that find a mentor that you can trust and learn as much as you can from them. Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs a mentor. There's nobody without a mentor. You see what I mean? Even Jesus has a mentor in God, the Father. Frida, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't. I wish I could share my phone screen. I was just chatting with my mentor, who's also my pastor, 2 hours ago, and I was just saying that, I need. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay, okay. So I was
Yes.
chatting with my mentor, 2 hours ago, and I was just, telling him how that this year I think we need to structure the. I need to put in more structure in this mentorship, the mentee mentor relationship we're doing, in the sense that I need you to tell me what you would need from me in terms of my reporting, in terms of how I update you on stuff, because you're getting more busy, and I will need to know how I can go about it, because I cannot move without guidance. Do you understand? I need to know how to report myself, know how to report myself, tell you what I'm up to, what I've been doing, and what I intend to do. Because you can't move without a mentor. It's very important. But also, one has to be very careful in choosing your mentors. You need to ask the Holy Spirit to help you. It's very important, because a mentor can become a tormentor. You know how that
Yeah.
there are mentors, there are leaders that have
And
gone or
become a
traveled all over.
competitor.
Yes, and it's a spirit. It's not like it's intentional. You can call me a mentor, and you reach out to me on a certain day or certain time where I'm really frustrated about a particular project, and then you're now telling me about a particular small project. No, I remember that same period. You now tell me, oh, about how you got a $1 billion project. I don't know if you get my point. Meanwhile, my
I
final year
do.
project is, and I'm your mentor. So you need discernment. And the fact that someone is your mentor does not mean that it's every where, because a mentor can actually
Information you shared.
be tormented in the sense that they can mislead you. It might not be it might not be there. That's why you need discernment. You need the Holy Spirit to guide you to the right people and ask the Holy Spirit to always speak through that person to you. Do you understand? So in as much as we need guidance, Holy Spirit is our own guide, or ask him to lead you to the right person who will mentor you and not torment you. Because it is dangerous. A mentor can travel the whole world and then you, as a mentee, you now come and say, I'm going to Togo tomorrow, sir. And that's that the mentor is thinking, this one has money to go to Togo, huh? It is so do you understand? So there are things the devil can use mentor, God can use mentor. So this thing is very dicey, but that's why the Holy Spirit is there to guide us. You must be very conscious of that, and it's very important. You can't even live life without guidance.
We're wrapping up now. We're
Okay,
wrapping
okay.
up
So
the
you
call. So what are your final thoughts?
recently my lawyer was talking to me and she said, you Frida, you have to do things differently to get results. In as much as I know that you are a faith person, faith doing the same thing every year is not faith. You know, try and change the process, change the way you see things, change the way you do things, and that is actually faith. So my last and final words would just be on this segment, basically, would just be that I think we should have an open mind, when relating with God and when looking at our careers, our businesses, and be very conscious of God in whatever you're doing. I always tell people that I might not be perfect. I don't like being perfect, and I might not get things right. But when it comes to my spiritual life, I want to be very conscious of it because that's the foundation of everything. Everything else sits on it. And the fact that I'm just so excited about the fact that I can actually, we can actually just have access to God. We're going through something, we just call upon the name of the Lord, and He's always there. That's so exciting and so interesting. That's a privilege, actually. It's like because I don't have the access. I don't have a president's phone number, but having the president's phone number, you're just so happy. Oh, I can call Tinubu. If I have any problem in this industry, I'll just call President Tinubu. You know how that. You know how excited and proud you are about that. Much more, you
Yeah.
have access to God,
You have a
and
direct
that's a
line.
privilege.
The creator of
Yes,
heaven
just
and
a dialogue.
earth.
Exactly, exactly. So I just want to say that nobody has it all put together. Nobody has it right yet. But as we just move, because you see this road is a roadmap, is a part. The Bible talks about the part that God has designed for us. We don't know everything. Even as an architect, when you design a floor plan, you design a building, you don't know everything. You're just doing the estate, you're just doing what you think you know. When it comes to other aspects of it, mechanical, electrical, so there are a lot of aspects of your work that you actually don't even know. And I feel like God wants much more for us in whatever field that we find ourselves. There is much more to it. I feel like we should strive towards digging deeper to get that thing. Do you understand? Because we are solutions here on earth. We need to dig deeper.
Yeah.
We need to think big, think about the future, think be futuristic in our approach to whatever we're doing, especially as designers and as architects. Think beyond the aesthetics of fine building. Don't just think fine building. Think functionality. Think about the people that are there. How do you want to make them happy? How do you want to be a blessing to them? Don't just think, I'm an interior and I just want to build beautiful throw pillows and go and buy beautiful rugs. Think beyond that. The people that are going to live there, how do you make them happy? And in thinking like that, you would now start desiring more knowledge on in that field that you find yourself. But this year for me is a year where I'm focusing so much on self-development so that I can be empowered to actually do much more for God.
Yeah.
Do much more. And that's why abroad you see people that like the people that you think are not born again, but God is using them, whether you like it or not,
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah.
every invention and every solution you see on this earth, from the invention of aeroplane to technology to the phones, God had us in mind when He gave them the
Yeah.
wisdom to do it. But they were ready; they
Yeah.
had their open minds
They
to
had
be
the
used.
skills. They were curious.
The curiosity, thank you. They had the desire, and that's why God said, "Okay," and He worked with their desire to solve problems, and that's it. So have an open mind, enlarge your desire, and just think beyond yourself.
I believe this is a good spot. This is a good point to draw the curtains on tonight's station. Thank you, FDC community. Thank you, FDC team. Thank you for all that you do behind the scenes, for all the follow-ups and the
Thank
announcements.
you so much.
I really, really appreciate you. We are building something, and we're building something that is going to outlast all of us. It's going to be a legacy for the industry.
Yeah,
And we need more of
yeah,
this. No, there's no
yeah.
single tree in the forest. It's called a forest because a lot of trees sprout out of the ground. So we're looking forward to more conversations like this, more connections like this, more collaborations like this that will propel the industry forward ultimately. Okay, so we can let you go now. I just have a few housekeeping and
Thank you
announcements to
so
make,
much.
and then we'll draw the
No
curtain.
problem. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. I'm so grateful.
So if you believe this is something, if at any point during the conversation tonight you had an inkling, you had a nudge in your heart, in your mind about how you can contribute to building this community together with us, we're open. Our hands are open. There are so many ways you can reach out to us. Go to our bio. You're going to see all the links, WhatsApp links. Go to our website to find out what we're about and all the other things that we are going to do this year. We know we put out some projections that would like to execute for 2025. And I'm so grateful to God and so, proud of our in-house team about how far we have come. We announced that we're going to have a campus tour around all the universities in Nigeria. And so far we have 19 universities on board, spaced throughout the entire year, different months. And the best part is that all the speakers per school are in-house FDC mentors or faculty. So if you've seen anybody who has spoken on the FDC platform before, whom you have benefited from, or who blessed you in one way or the other, they are coming to a campus near you. So if you're a student in here tonight, I want you to go back to your campuses and tell somebody that FDC is coming. We are coming. By the grace of God, we projected that we're going to go to these campuses, and by the grace of God, we are going to do just that. Okay? There's another announcement in the pipeline. I'm not sure if I should spill it now. Admin, should I talk about it now, or should we put the cap on it? Let's put a cap on it. But please follow us on Instagram at the Future Design Collaborative so you can be up to speed and up to date on all these announcements and all these great things that we have in the pipeline. It's been a pleasure hosting you tonight. I hope you benefited from the conversation in one way or the other. I hope you were able to take one or two things away, whether personal, whether business, whether industry. And we're looking forward to seeing you in February. February is going to be very special. It's going to be a conversation between one FDC mentee and an FDC mentor. And so you don't want to miss that. Let's just have it spontaneous. Let's see what they're going to talk about. And I'm also looking forward to that particular session. And so I would like to say, have a very good evening if you're in Nigeria, wherever part of the world it is you're tuning in from. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for believing in the FDC vision. We're going to see you at the top by God's grace. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy the rest of January.